Hello and welcome to Lucid Dreaming 101. This is a kind of like a crash course for a beginner, like an introduction. My name is Christiane, and I am doing this because I think lucid dreaming is a very valuable tool, both for conscious embodiment and awakening and investigation of the nature of reality. And so I might not be perfect or have 35 years of intense experience, but there is no time to waste to share what we know. And so during this 45 minutes or so, I aim to transmit to you what lucid dreaming is, why you would want to do it, and how to do it. So you get away with tools how to get started if you feel called. I'll start with a little story just to illustrate, and a lot of things will be just repeated. So anyway, let's get started with Lucid Dreaming 101. How do we move this forward? Okay, hang on. All right, let's try again. Let's see if it moves. Yeah, dreaming. What's dreaming? Dreaming is essentially an altered state of consciousness. In our normal waking, everyday waking state, there's a predominance of what is called beta brain waves. There's a certain state of consciousness associated with it. And then there is sleeping, and then there's dreaming and various different realities. And historically, many cultures have had dreaming as part of their culture. And in fact, the story is in part inspired by a culture in, I think it was in the Amazon, where if children were dreaming and there was an issue, the adults would say, well, go back tonight and find out more. So moving in those spaces in many cultures is much more accepted. Now, one of the most extensive investigations into dreaming and sleeping is in the Buddhist tradition. And of course, there's the shamanic traditions with the voyaging, often with plant substances. In Western tradition also, there used to be a lot of emphasis in altered states and dreaming and healing dreams, but it kind of got lost. And only in the last 100 or so years has there been renewed interest, both from the scientific perspective as well as psychology and, with Freud and Jung in terms of dealing with the unconscious. So here is a question for you. Now, you might just be curious, or you've had strange dreams, or just have questions, but why do you want to lucid dream? What do you think it is? And mostly, why do you want to lucid dream? So take a minute and just write that down. You can, if you're watching this later on, you can just pause the video, but just take a pen and paper and just write down a few words. And it could be, well, I'm just curious, Okay, we'll get back to this later. And here's the little story. And it involves a 5-year-old, very bright and very smart little boy whose life situation was quite challenging, and he's had nightmares for several months that really start interfering with his sleep and school, and he's been acting out, and stuff's just going on with life. So his dad, who is quite knowledgeable in terms of how Buddhists are using dreaming, he was having a talk with him about this dream, and talked to him about waking up in a dream, and then the boy said, "Oh yeah, I can wake. I know, I'll be Superman." And then that was it. Of course, he had his next nightmare, and he did not wake up. And he said, "Dad, I want to be Superman in my dreams." And Dad says, "Yeah, you can be Superman. You can be anything in your dreams." Next time he had a nightmare, that same nightmare, didn't wake up, didn't become Superman. And then he was like, "Dad, how do I become Superman in my dreams?" At this point, he really wanted to be Superman in his dreams. And so Dad started explaining to him, "Okay, here you are." His name is Joe. "Here you are, Joe. This is your conscious Joe, the Joe that we all know. And at night, that part goes to sleep. And then this part talks to you in your dreams. What we need to do is, while you're sleeping, we're going to wake this part up so you can have a communication. You can ask this part some things. And you can ask it to show you some things. So while you're sleeping and this part is having a nightmare for you to see, you need to wake this part up." Okay? So Joe was like, "Okay, how do we do this?" Well, in order to wake up in our dreams, the dad says, we need to know a little bit about sleeping and dreaming. Like, for example, particularly with young people and especially with children, most of the dreams happen like after you already slept like 5 hours. So with you not going to bed that early because you're afraid, you don't have as much of a chance to practice waking that part up while you're dreaming, because it's just going to catch you by surprise. So it's really important to sleep 4 to 5 hours. And then when the dreaming time gets longer towards the morning, that's when you can work on waking up. So Daddy asked, "Do you really, really want to be Superman in your dreams?" And Joe says, "Yes, I do." And Dad says, "That's the most important thing. You really want it. It's really important to you. You're really determined. You're really enthusiastic. And so you already halfway there. But like I said, you need to get enough sleep. And then when falling asleep, you got to tell yourself, just as you're not quite awake, but you're not really asleep yet. And you tell yourself, tonight I will dream, and I remember my dreams. And in the morning, you write down or draw your dreams. You write down it in a journal, or you speak it into a recorder. So then you need to do a couple more things in the daytime. And one of them is, you ask yourself, when you think about it, is this real? Am I dreaming? Like anytime something weird happens, or when you remember, just say, am I dreaming? And then you got to check it out. And here you have There you go. Oops, see, here you go. You look at your hand, and you know how it has like fingers on it? Then you make a fist, look away, and quickly look again. Look at your fingers. Now, when you are dreaming, the second time you look, your fingers are going to be weird because your brain won't be able to put it back together the same way. Or you can use, you remember that watch, that digital watch we gave you? You can do the same thing with your watch. You look at your watch, then you look away, and you look at your watch again. And the second time, if the numbers are weird, then that means you're dreaming. But in order for you to remember during your dream, you need to train yourself in the daytime. Does that make sense? I said, yeah, makes sense. So Daddy said, okay, so what do you need to do? Okay, Joe says, I need to go to bed so that I can sleep enough so that I can have more dream time. Before I go to sleep, I'm going to say, tonight I will dream and I'll remember my dreams. And in the morning, I'll write down all my dreams. And in the daytime, I ask myself, am I dreaming? And I look at my hand and check if it's what reality it is. Okay, so that was the plan. He has another nightmare a few days later. And this time he remembers, oh, nightmare. Check my hands. All right. And so he says, I'm dreaming. So I'm Superman. Stop. What do you want? You can't hurt me. Stop. And so that boy that was after him, that big guy, that big bully, just shrank and got smaller and smaller. And so I'm so sorry. I'm just afraid. I'm afraid nobody loves me because I've been so mean lately. And nobody wants to be my friend. I just want you to be my friend. So Joe was just melting and saying, we can be friends. And besides, I'm Superman. You can't hurt me. And the boy says, you know what? Yeah, that's great. You want me to show you what I can be? I said, sure. I can be a bear. I can be your bear friend. Oh, that's really cool. I can even show you how big and strong I am. Wow. Of course, Joe was not afraid because he was Superman. And then the bear said, you want to go on an adventure? And sure, they went on. Now, Joe never had that nightmare again. He and his dad talked about things, and, he also got enrolled in karate, and he was never bullied again. So this was just a quick example on how you can use lucid dreams. But how do you do it? And so there's techniques and enthusiasm and determination. And of the two, the most important, according to Buddhist teachings, is enthusiasm and determination. In fact, there are some instructions in some lineages where when the lucid dreaming comes up as a practice, the only instruction you get is you do it with intention. What is lucid dreaming? Finally, we're getting to it. Lucid dreaming is when you are dreaming and you are dreaming, but for all practical purposes, your body looks like it's asleep. How is lucid dreaming different from regular dreaming? In regular dreaming, and they've studied this, there are certain brainwave states and certain perfusion, and mostly the posterior cortex is activated. In lucid dreaming, the prefrontal cortex also comes online, and in particular, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Now, that part of your brain is where your sense of self resides and your morality. So that comes online and the entire brainwaves shift. You still look like you're sleeping, and you are, Z, that's the sleeping. But not only is the posterior part, but also the frontal cortex active. And so this has implications for the consequences on what you do during lucid dreaming. We'll get back to that later. Now, lucid dreaming, I'll just go through some of the benefits and applications. One of them is just like you can have fun. Go to the beach, fly, one of the most common. As we have seen, you can deal with nightmares, explore challenging life situations, like go through practice runs, like heal phobias. And to your body, it will not make any difference whether you actually experience it in a dream or for real. Like if you have for example, a fear of spiders, if you know you're lucid dreaming, you can say, I want to deal with my fear of spiders. And the spider could come on your hands, but you know you're dreaming. Nothing is going to happen to you. So you tolerate the sensation of the spider in your hand because you know nothing will happen to you. And to your body, it'll feel the same. You will be more relaxed next time, or maybe completely cured of your spider phobia. It's just an example. You can use it for self-healing, get guidance, and here spiritual practice is a big time for me. Lucid dreaming is a spiritual practice, and you can do spiritual practice during lucid dreaming. And according to Buddhist traditions, doing like meditation is 7 times more effective than if you do it during the daytime. You can reprogram beliefs. Develop physical activities. They've done that with sports studies. You can experience difficult to access altered states, like unconditional love, for example. Preparing for death. Go and explore the nature of reality. 2 big ones in the Buddhist traditions. Generally, you can use it to learn things, level up your game of life, heal relationships with others. I mean, there's so many applications. And one of the things they're studying now is with PTSD and lucid dreaming, and learn to lucid dream while having the nighttime PTSD experiences. And it's a life changer for those folks suffering from that. So those studies, I mean, are just underway. And I think a whole lot more is going to come to light in how we can use this, or how humans can use this for all kinds of benefits. Again, there are practices that we do during the day if we intend to become lucid during the nighttime. One is we record the dreams. Dream recording, dream journal, no matter who you ask, it's probably, well, it's one of the most important practices. So you will need a journal and record your dreams. One of the benefits of having a journal is it's not just to give your brain the message, hey, this is important to me, pay attention. Because at first you say, I don't dream. Everybody dreams several times a night. And even if you write down, I didn't dream, your brain will still get the message. Dreams are important to him or her. Also, if you do it long enough, you will find dream signs. And dream signs are like anything, any recurrent dreams, really weird things, repetitive, uh, repetitive dreams, or just the same themes, like talking to dead people, and you will recognize those and they become lucidity triggers. The other thing you might want to do is like, well, if I do wake up, what do I want to do? So you have a dream plan, and it's a bit more involved and not part of the beginner. So if you just make just set a particular intention for what you want to do. In the daytime, basically is to question reality, notice anything weird, and about 10 times a day, ask yourself, am I dreaming? How did I get here? Is this real? And do a reality check. I use the hand because it's always available and it works for me. Then in the phase of the sleep where you just fall asleep, it's called hypnagogic state, recite 21 times before you fall asleep, either one of your chosen dream affirmations. A good one is, tonight I remember my dreams. I have excellent dream recall. Another one is, I lucid dream for the benefits of all beings. I'm a warrior of the dream state. I stay lucid and conscious while dreaming. The next time I'm dreaming, I know I'm dreaming. Choose one and just recite it. See if you can do it 21 times. If you're just at the point where you are about to fall asleep, 21 times can be a long time. Wow, I'm dreaming. You did it. You did your practices. And yes, doing the practices does help waking up during a dream. So you did your reality check. Your fingers the second time were all bendy and weird. And you say, oh, I am dreaming. Now what? I'm dreaming. Oh my God, I woke up. And then you wake up. That's a very common thing. If you get too excited, you just end up waking up. So when you notice you're dreaming, you recognize it and you stay calm and you do what you plan to do. This is where the dream plan really comes in. And the dream plan has a sankalpa, an invocational, directional, I don't want to use the word command, but it's a direction for your subconscious to come forth with it. Like, for example, experience love now, or go to the beach now, or surfing now, or show me my guide. The dream plan can be very elaborate, but it comes down to a very short phrase, 3 or 4 word phrase. And that's what you say, or use your intention. Now this slide, I just put that in because this was originally a 7-week course. And as you can see, there's the Buddhist and the Buddhist. They have one of the most elaborate investigation into dream and sleep. It's called the Yoga of Dream and Sleep. And in that whole system, lucid dreaming is just a beginning practice. And it's not only a beginning practice, it's also a place where you do your spiritual practice. If you don't have a spiritual practice, but you want to be beneficial, you just send kindness to somebody if you're waking up during your dream. In the Western tradition, it is just absolutely mind-blowing what has happened in the last even 10 years, okay? The stuff that people have found out with what's lit up in what phases of your sleep and dream and where the connections are and all the brain scans, and this is way beyond the various brain waves that we've known about for years. And this is, I mean, people have been studying these altered states of consciousness with and without substances in all phases of dream and sleep. It is literally mind-blowing what's been happening. And here is a thing that Buddhists have said. Ordinary dreaming is caused by karma. Lucid dreaming creates karma. Now, remember we were saying that in lucid dreaming, your prefrontal cortex comes back online. You can't quite see it here. It's this little part right there, like there, that little red dot. Okay. It's part of the prefrontal cortex. That's your sense of self and your morality. When that's online, what you experience is volitional, like in your everyday life. And so it's as if you do things in life. And so lucid dreaming creates karma. Makes total sense when you consider that your sense of self and your morality comes online during lucid dreaming. So again, ordinary dreaming is caused by karma. You are served up what is in your unconscious. Similarly, what happens when you die, all those apparitions, the things that are going to happen, the more unconscious you have in yourself, the more you're going to deal with it after you, or during the dying process. There was something else I was going to mention, but maybe I'll remember later. Okay. One more thing that is quite important. Like, remember that big iceberg, the unconscious, all the things that might be stuffed down there, whether it's amazing, joyful, creative qualities of you that got suppressed for one reason or another, mostly when we were children and were not allowed to be seen or do what it was that we needed to do. So that's like the brilliant parts of you, but also the parts that seem completely unacceptable, unlovable to you. And so you, of course, don't have anything to do with those. You can only see them in other people. Those shadow parts that you're not aware of, you don't consciously own as part of who you are, they can be worked with in lucid dreams. You can intentionally ask for anything that's repressed. And whatever shows up, here is the thing to do. You meet it, you greet it, and you embrace it. And you integrate it into your conscious beingness. So that, and you do that enough, the soul force energy or the divine consciousness that wants to live through you doesn't get stuck in all these unconscious blocks that are part of you, whether you admit it or know it or not. So again, here the secret is meet it, greet it, and embrace it. And lucid dreaming, the way it's defined generally, whatever shows up in a lucid dream, it's yours. It belongs to your subconscious. Now, that iceberg that we saw earlier, It does swim in an ocean, and it is in contact with other icebergs. And so it's not like you cannot, for example, start astral projecting during a lucid dream, or that you cannot have visitation, or that you cannot go to the spirit world, which is a little bit like astral projection, and meet others. But that's a different world. In a lucid dream, there are particular characteristics that particular things you can do that you don't have that same ability when you leave that space of your lucid dream. So anyway, again, meet it, greet it, embrace it. That's true for your nighttime, and that's true for your daytime parts of self that you realize are there. It was a quote that I wanted. I'll just leave it up. And when you review the video, you can just read it. It's just like, who is dreaming you? Who is the dreamer? And does the one who dreams you have plans for you that maybe you are resistant? Is there a purpose? Just questions. The practice of lucidity in dreams is intended to help recognize the illusory nature of reality as we have been conditioned to perceive. Just a consideration. It's an amazing practice. Again, who is the dreamer? This is a review of the methods and techniques you need to know about dream and sleep time. In the beginning of the night, the physical restoration happens, and there's a lot of deep sleep time and very little dream time. Towards the end of the night, after the first 4 to 5 hours, the dream phases, the REM, the dream phases, get longer and longer, and so you dream more towards the morning. Before falling asleep during the hypnagogic phase, have a dream recall affirmation, such as, I lucid dream for the benefit of all beings, or tonight I will be lucid dreaming, or tonight I remember my dreams, I have excellent dream recall, whichever you choose. Record your dreams, dream journal, very crucial. Check it for dream signs, anything recurrent, anything weird, any themes. Just notice it, what shows up, and have some sort of an intention, a dream plan for when you do become conscious during your dreaming. The other daytime practices: notice anything weird, do reality check, ask yourself, am I dreaming? How did I get here? Like, how did I get here is a really good one. Like, aren't you ever thinking in dreams? It's like, oh, okay, you can't find your way, or you're lost. And then you just say, well, wait a minute, how did I get here? How did I get here? And if you have no clue whatsoever, you're like, oh, lucidity trigger, hello, I'm dreaming. Try it out. It actually works. Now we'll go back to, why do you want to lucid dream? Do you even want to lucid dream? Do you want to live lucidly? This may speak to you. Knowing and clearing all your unconscious may be something you want to do. Preparing for death may be something you want to do. In the Buddhist tradition, it's like, okay, here's your day of your life. And in the evening, you black out just like when you die. What makes you think that if you cannot stay awake during the dream hallucinations, that you can stay conscious during the hallucinations when you're dying, or during the bardo of becoming? So anyway, it's again the question, and just write down just a few words why you might want to learn lucid dreaming. Just a couple words. I'll wait. Now, participation increases the effectiveness of anything you're trying to learn. Okay, here comes the Lucid Dreaming 101 quiz. You ready? Now, you can participate by either unmuting and just saying it, and I don't care if there's all of you saying it, something, or just write it in the chat. Okay, you don't have to raise your hands, just unmute and answer. What is lucid dreaming? Okay. Now, since I'm pre-recording this, I am just pretending you all knew what it was. It's when you are dreaming and you know you are dreaming while you're dreaming. Name benefits and applications of lucid dreaming. Just like 3. Okay. The best way to go is like, why did you want to lucid dream? Maybe you want to talk to your dead grandmother. Or maybe you want to go visit the beach, like have fun. Maybe you want to prepare for death, do spiritual practice, heal PTSD, deal with your phobia, practice public speaking, something like that. Okay, good. What are some basic methods in lucid dreaming practice? Remember, there was like the intention and determination, and then there were methods that you can employ. Okay, name one. All right. Dream journal. That's like one of the most important. Have a dream journal, write down, record your dreams somehow. Even if you didn't dream, write down something every morning and just do that. Hypnagogic dream affirmation, yes. And reality checks during the day. And look at my hand over here. Oops, I'll show you again. The way you do it is you look at your hand, make a fist look away, and quickly look at your hand again. And if your fingers, the second time, are like weird, it means you're dreaming. Like apparently, and we don't know why, the brain cannot, in quick succession, assemble the hand like it can in the waking daytime. This is about 95% effective. For the rest of it, you have to fall back on your broad mindfulness. If you use the digital watch, it's a little bit more accurate, I think 97%, but you have to have a digital watch to practice with. So what else was there? Oh yeah, those questions, those questions. Am I dreaming? Is this real? How did I get here? All right. What's your favorite reality check? Well, I only gave you 2, didn't I? And amongst those, It's the hand. Check your fingers. According to Buddhist tradition, actions during lucid dreaming create karma. Is that true or false? True. Why does it make sense? Because during lucid dreaming, the part of the prefrontal cortex that comes alive is where your sense of self resides and your morality. You wake up, your daytime self wakes up. What's the biggest factor in developing a successful lucid dreaming practice? According to Buddhists, it's determination and enthusiasm, or intention. So for me, I have experienced that. That was 20 years ago, and then it got so scary for me, I made myself stop dreaming. This time around, I actually need to do practice, and if I do the practice, I have lucid dreams, and if I don't do the practice, I don't. So something about my focus and intention isn't as strong. So I have to fall back on the practices, and they do work. This is just, it works. Lucid Dreaming Circle. If this approach, if this calls to you, whether you want to deal with this life issue, your unconscious, you want to purify your subconscious structures, or just want to do your spiritual practice while lucid dreaming, or you want to do really serious preparation for death, whichever it is, it helps to be able to come together with like-minded people like a sangha, where you can bring your questions or just know that others are doing this, and just hearing others having success will aid to keep that flame alive of that practice. Because what you know, if you let that flame die, you know, sometimes you just need to start over later with a big pot of cold water. And anyway, it's a circle that is available for those who really feel called to do this. If you've gotten your journal and you've been writing things down and stuff is happening and you're like, hey, what was it about? How do I join this dream circle? You all have my email because you needed to register for this. And you can also ask in the Prosperity Path Forum on Facebook and say, hey, I'm ready to join the dream circle. How do I do this? And I'll see that. And I think that was the last slide, and I hope I didn't forget anything completely super important. So I hope this gave you a good intro to lucid dreaming, what it is, and some methods how to go about doing it. You should really be all set to get started. In fact, you have everything to get started at this point. And so it's like, what's your why? And is it part of your path? And maybe I'll see you in the dream circle. And so may this effort be for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And I think we're done. And now I'm going to try to stop the share and stop the recording. Okay, thanks for listening. And stop recording. Here we go.